Hey, now we're going to talk about workflow and navigation. I'm going to jump out of the native file reviewer and talk a little bit about browsing. I'll hit some workflow and then we'll go into searching. We gave a few different ways to browse through records and relativity, what call folders, the file tree we talked about, the advanced and save searches. We can also browse from clusters, which is also part of the relativity analytical features. I'm going to start now here with a case folder. As you can see on the screen, these are a little bit different than what you may be used to with other applications. That's not a metaphor for tagging and coding structure, but actually a physical location of the records in the system. As you can see here, it can use with your Outlook or Windows Explorer. A metaphor that is familiar to people. We have a high level folders here that we can set up. Padlock, which you can see on the screen, indicates that it's secureable, so I can secure these folders. I have one here for file servers organized by city, and it can be shared. For custodians, we have this custodian, John Arnold. Let's click on that and you'll see some loose folders. For email, you've actually preserved the original email structure of John Arnold's Outlook and Notice Notes, whichever he was using. So off this email structure, as you can see, we've involved the matter pertaining to Compact. For instance, I could come in, click on the Compact folder, and as you can see on the screen, exactly what he was storing in there. This gives us a very intuitive way to browse through records. And in the terms of how we set this up, relativity can map to any piece of metadata in the load file. In this case, as shown, we mapped to the file path information, and we had the file path automatically recant based on that. Another popular way our clients are using this is with the original paper-based collection, and these documents we coded on the box level. So maybe we want to recreate the box structure. Other than that, we can right-click and create the box folder as we find it, so that the case fits the folders. The field tree is actually a metaphor for tagging and coding structure in the way we are intuitive as well. For instance, maybe I can see something that has been tagged as a part of someone's deposition kit. Here, let's look at Elliot's. It looks like there are 5 records in the depot kit. Or maybe I'd like to see what was tagged as privileged thus far. It looks like we have 49 records tagged as privileged. As you can see on the screen. So these documents are tagged in the system. The next time I click on this, they're going to instantly return. So that's the field tree. Alright, now I'm going to hide the browser. Give me a second here. Give us a full screen real estate so we can talk about our workflow and touch of reporting. So here we are. We're looking at a little over 74,000 documents, and that is the wholesale database, the Enron database. While the 74 documents we have here certainly is a healthy size database, the largest case relativity has currently is 93 million records. With hundreds of users in a single database, they're tiffing, they're redacting, they're tweaking out layouts of workflow, and doing all sorts of searching. It's still a very responsive system, even with that amount of records. The drop-down controls, the views in relativity can be queried. They can control workflow. They're a bit of reporting in general. But 3 things specifically: views control the columns, as you can see here displayed across the top, the criteria we use to pull down our records, and the default sort order. So for instance, right now we're showing responsive and issue. Let's click over here, and now we're looking at minor review. The responsive field would be the only one that is available to them. We might even automate some of the workflow so these records are coded and tagged as responsive. It would automatically flow into the second tier. A couple of other things we can do with views or responsive documents. Let's look at that. Okay, so it looks like we have 857 in the system right now. I can use this drop down to include duplicates or family documents, even if we're not responsive to the query. So for instance, if I include duplicates, it looks like it jumps to 1,458. Maybe I want to minimize the document, so I'm going to click on responsive field just to uncode the documents at the top. I can see the records that have been tagged inconsistent or not at all. These are exact duplicates of responsive documents, so I might want to normalize these with a mass action. Maybe these are records that I want to create a mass TIFF of or print locally, and we can print them with or without the redaction. do some tallying, summing, averaging of the field data, or export them. Each one of these are individually securable, so you grant rights to one, none, or any of them, and tag these as duplicate or responsive documents. I would tag these, or tag some of these, responsive. I would hit save, and then you can see by this case I'm going to cancel it out. Another question we often get is how privilege log, how do you print out or pull the privilege log out of Relativity? In our case, it's a matter of setting up another view. So we have documents that have been tagged with privilege with fields that have been agreed upon to report, and that those are going to export them. We can export them as either a DAT file or a CVS, but in any case, we'll export them to an Excel spreadsheet. We would like to keep them Unicode compliant, so here we have the priv log already to go, and we can save and then manipulate it from here. Any questions so far on the section we just covered with workflow and navigation? Seems pretty easy. Everybody understand it? Okay. All right, so let's move on to the views inside of Relativity.